Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on our webinar this afternoon. My name is Ben Longlet. I'm a digital specialist with Harvest Profit, and we also have Wyatt Erickson joining us today, who is a support specialist on our team. And if you've joined our past webinars, this beginning is going to be pretty similar, just a little bit of overview of what Harvest Profit is for those of you that are new. I see we do have some people on here that are not current users of Harvest Profit or not in the software. So we'll do a little quick overview, talk a little bit about it. But really the goal of today is to talk about leveraging agronomic data and utilizing that in your financial tools. So the basis of today is going to be talking about our integrations with John Deere, Operations Center, and also looking at how to bring in data from other accounts or other sources. And just kind of as a quick note, the the account Wyatt will be demoing today is pulling all the data in through OpCenter, but actually most of the field data is coming in through an integration with FieldView. So we do like to talk about mixed fleets, non-Deere colors, because we do realize there's a lot of customers that don't fall into that category. And we just want to make sure you realize that we do have solutions that work great for those customers yet. So the story, a little bit of backstory of Harvest Profit. We've been around since 2015 doing farm financial management software. We focus on providing a tool that is a web-based platform and also an app-based platform to answer those critical questions on the farm. So what's my cost of production? What's my field by field profitability? What does my profit and loss look like if I add or remove farms? We can do cash rent versus crop share comparisons. We can do scenarios and production planning, contracting, just about anything numbers based on the farm. We have a tool that can help you track it and make sure you're making the decisions with as much information as possible. So a little bit about like the why Harvest Profit. So Harvest Profit is an easy to use platform by anyone. We're not an accounting tool. We're a crop profitability tool, crop budgeting tool. This means anyone on the farm can be the one in control of Harvest Profit. It doesn't have to be the accountant. It doesn't have to be the money person. It's easy to use. We have simple budgeting features. It makes it easy. Like we can do templates for the future year, and we could build you a farm budget once your account is set up in just a few minutes. We don't need to connect into any kind of financials into your bank accounts. This is all user inputted data on input pricing connected with machine data or manually inputted applications to come up with those simple budgets. And then again, like we're going to talk about today, is we utilize your existing operations data. So whether that's data coming in from, it could be from OpCenter, from FieldView. There's Raven integrations into OpCenter, all sorts of options to get that data into the correct platform that comes right into Harvest Profit. I do want to mention today too, as we're going and we have people joining, if you have any questions as we're going along, please feel free to throw them either in the Q&A or in chat, and we will answer those when the time is appropriate. So a little bit about our teaming up with Deere is Harvest Profit has always been a great tool for financials, and we're always a manually inputted tool. And this OpCenter integration and our machine data integrations allows us to merge those, that data we're already recording on the farm on every pass. We bring that together with the information you're tracking in Harvest Profit, and we can hopefully make your financial decisions a little bit easier, a little more comfortable, and just being able to have data-driven financial decisions on the farm. So our goal is to remove the emotions from decision making and replace that with facts and information. So one other thing I wanted to chat a little bit about today too is about connecting equipment. This is a topic that gets brought up a lot. I don't run John Deere equipment. I can't use OpCenter. I just show this little screenshot from this is from my farm. We have one Deere tractor in our farm. The rest of it is other colors, either it be Case or ACO. We're a mixed fleet. But at the end of the day, we still have ways to have JD Link connectivity to those machines to pull in information. If not just locations, we can still pull in application information, hours, fuel usage, all sorts of data into OpCenter. Currently today, Harvest Profit is only consuming application data, seed chemical, fertilizer, products, rates, yields, things like that. But as our future integration grows, You can look into the possibilities of all the data that is consumed by OpCenter. We can start thinking about the possibilities of what Harvest Profit could do with that information with a fully connected farm. So a few of the key features we talked about a little bit already, but we'll just kind of go over this. So if you're looking to understand the total profitability of your farm, field by field level profitability, so like which fields are performing best, which fields are performing worse, crop by crop profitability, this allows us to look at which crop is best, which is worse. You know, if we want to make a crop rotation decision, we can make some changes on the farm. Grain contract management. So every time we're selling grain, we can record those contracts and understand how much grain we have sold, how much we have left to sell, what our average prices are currently, what our average cash price is on our current contracts. Again, I feel like I've said this a lot, machine data integration, you know, we're bringing in OpCenter data, field view data, all those data sources to make life a little easier on the data input side. Scenario analysis, this is going to be the ability to say, you know, maybe it's a budget versus actual, or, you know, in a lot of cases, it's a, what if I add this piece of land, or what if I add this piece of machinery and it increases my efficiency, or I can decrease labor. You know, running any of those scenarios side by side in your harvest profit account to see how your profitability changes. Templating, this is for budgeting purposes. We can create a simple application templates for budgeting for 2024. We could sit down on your account today and you simply could make a four crop budget in a matter of minutes. You know, my farm, we do our budgeting templating in the fall, and it usually takes me less than 15 minutes to have a preliminary budget for the next year. We are tied into the Chicago Board of Trade ICE market data connection, so that way we can pull in futures pricing. So your account is always refreshing to the board pricing. And this allows us to always give you that overview of how is my profitability today versus yesterday. We can see how current pricing is weighted against the average of your contract prices and how that affects your profitability. And lastly, we do grain inventory management and profit mapping as well. So if you've seen our webinars before, you've seen me talk about this a time or two, but I like to always bring up this 5% rule. This is something that really sticks in my head with farm management. And it's the idea that small changes on the farm lead to big returns and kind of compounding returns. And in this example, we're going to show what it looks like to have a $400 acre cost of production, a yield of 50 and a price of 8. So maybe this is a wheat example. They're kind of just random numbers. But in this example, at 450 and 8, we're at a profit and loss of 0. You know, we're not making money, we're not losing money, we're break even. But what we want to look at is how does, you know, a 5% change influence profitability? So a lot of times I break this down to a 1%, 3%, 5% because we don't feel like 5% is truly achievable. But we'll start at 1%. So 1%, being 1% better at cost of production is going to be a reduction of $4 an acre in your cost of production. I think like there's a lot of ways that we can be, you know, a little bit better in our cost of production, managing that better and saving at least 1%. That would also be a 1% increase in the yield and 1% increase in price. And that brings us to being break even to $12 an acre of profitability. So it doesn't seem like much, but when we look at this over 5,000 acres, we're talking about a $60,000 change. And we can look at 3% to 5%. You know, 5% doesn't sound like a lot if someone told you to cut your expenses by 5%. But we can start looking at that, how that leads to $61 of profitability an acre change from the original scenario. So a lot of times I'll be told that, you know, 5% is unrealistic on price and yield, but I like to tell people you don't have to be perfect. We don't have to be 5% in all categories. You know, maybe we can do a 3% or a 5% reduction in cost of production, and then just a 1% increase in yield and price, or maybe it's a 0% increase, but it's a 2% increase in price, whatever it may be. I just want to highlight that small changes can really compound into big financial gains on the farm. And my last point here is that we can't really define success in reducing cost of production or increasing our profitability without tracking it with a tool like Harvest Profit. So that's kind of our little hook for Harvest Profit. If you want to be better at tracking those key pieces of information, you're tracking your cost of production, understanding how it changes year over year. We have a great tool to help you out with that. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to let Wyatt take over, and he's going to do a little bit of a demo in Harvest Profit.
Thank you, Ben. All right, so like Ben talked about, bringing over application data, seed, chemical, fertilizer from Operations Center. Just a quick view of how to get integrated. If you have an Operations Center account, and you go to our settings page down at the bottom, we have a sign-in option for John Deere Operations Center.
Wyatt, we can't see your screen. I don't know if you're sharing yet.
Yes, how about now? Can you see it now, Ben?
I'm seeing your computer screen. I'm seeing your Word document. Must be on the wrong screen. There we go.
There we
You're
go.
good.
All right, again, so down on the settings page here, you can go to the integrations tab. It's the fourth one over. We have two options. We do have a field view integration option, and we have an operations center option. Now um, we are advising to go through operations center, just because on your farm it's a lot, it's easier to do work plans. It seems like the data just is flowing through better. And so, like Ben said, if you have multiple colors on your farm, it's just an easy way to get everything integrated and just flow through John Deere Operations Center. And again, OpCenter, it's free to use, so you can sign up for free, get an account, and start getting your data in there. Now, once I am connected, what I typically focus on first is bringing over applications. Now, on my page here, I've got a few different fields, and we're going to take a look at Boulder Northwest. Here, it's a soybean field. And once my integration is in, I'm signed in, I can connect to my field. And on the right-hand side here, we have our machine data. So everything that I've got recorded in OpCenter is going to flow through into Harvest Profit. But I also have the option to choose to exclude some. Maybe I have some overlaps or some bad applications, skips, anything like that, that may exist in Operations Center. I don't necessarily have to import them, but it's pretty simple to do. I'm just going to select all these applications because it looks like they're pretty good. And I'm going to click import. And they'll come over here. Now, you won't always see that because you may have some items that have not yet been imported. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you what that looks like. And I'm going to so I've already imported some products and I want to show you what it looks like to not have them. So I'm going to go back to my field here. I'll remove this. And if I click my machine data, and you can do that as much as you want. If you need to import, remove, if you have to play around with getting the right data in there, like it's pretty versatile. It's not, once you import it, it doesn't always stay there. You can delete it if you need to. But again, a lot of times you'll see when you're importing a new product, you'll have this window come up that allows you to select a product that already exists or import it as a new one. So if you've gone into Operations Center, maybe you've already kind of got some of your varieties and chemicals imported or inputted, and then when it comes time to application, maybe you have to change some things, enter in a new product, or I know I see a lot of times you'll run out of a product and then have to enter in the generic leftovers from last year or something like that, but you don't have it yet in Harvest Profit. So it's pretty easy just to import it as a new one coming in from Operations Center. And again, if you're a Harvest Profit user and you don't have Operations Center connected, but you do use Operations Center, that's okay. We can get your fields connected. And then as you import your data, you can connect all of your products and varieties to what you have available from Operations Center. So once I click accept, that'll just take a second to load. But if I go to my inputs, I'll just refresh my page. And down at the bottom here is that new one that I had just imported. So I'm going to make sure that I have the right unit for it because it's soybeans. I'll do 140. And I'll just add in a generic price here. So I've updated my price. Now, if I go back to that application, my seeding will have that cost per acre assigned to it. Now, you might be wondering, what's this error that's showing up? Well, sometimes in Operations Center or in Harvest Profit, you might have different units. So if I've already had products in Harvest Profit assigned to like a fluid ounce, but in OpCenter, I accidentally selected a dry ounce. Well, this error is going to come up because the unit types don't match. So if I click on edit here, I'll see that it's an incompatible unit. Well, this is actually, if this was actually a fluid and this is correct, well, I need to go check my inputs. So if I go to my inputs page and I go down to authority, I can see here. So a little new thing that we added is we can see how many times we've added a product to a field. And if you have any mismatched units, there will be a little red icon, like red oval around here that's highlighted. And it'll show me, okay, I've got some units I need to fix. And the reason we do this is because we know mistakes can happen if you're entering units. Sometimes you can fat finger some things. Sometimes it's easy to just have an incorrect unit. We see it a lot, so we've added this tool. And now, so right now it's still set to fluid ounces here, but on the product line, it's set to dry ounces. So actually, if I just set this to per fluid ounce, that will correct the issue. As I go down here, there's a dry ounce as well on there, and I can just select fluid ounce. Now on this one, it's pretty easy because I just have a couple applications, but we know farmers out there that have a lot going on in their farm. Could have, we've seen dozens and dozens of products being applied multiple times. So highly encourage you to walk through this. This tool might help kind of clear some things up on your account. Next, like we talked about applications, seeding and applications, and yields, the last one. So on my yields page, I'm going to navigate to my soybean crop because that's the one I imported. And we do have a planned and actual yield. So planned yields, typically you want to have a budget, budget yield amount. Some people use some of their APH levels or last year's average. And then for actual yield, if you're integrated for harvest data, I can just select Operations Center. And that's going to flow into my production amount, which then goes into my P&L. Now talking about how different tools can be integrated, Ben, how would you say the integration on your farm with multiple different colors has gone using this process?
Yeah, so the field wide show today is actually some data off my farm. We're talking about the planter data that was imported, came off a precision planting monitor. Spray data would have been a case sprayer with field view on it, and harvest data would have come through precision as well. So all that data is being automatically imported into OpCenter through a data connection, which we can if you have more questions about, feel free to email us at support@harvestprofit.com to get that set up. But that connection, what it does is it looks in your FieldView account every day, every night at midnight, and it will upload anything new from the day. So this can be any of your seeding, application, or harvest data. So if you're already recording some of your data in Deere, some in OpCenter, some in FieldView, this is a great way to get everything under one program, under one system, so you can access it from one place. So, and you might ask us, like, why don't we just import directly from FieldView? We had a previous FieldView connection, but just in terms of ease of use and accuracy of our integration, the Operations Center integration is at the top of the list. Plus, through Operations Center, we can actually download the maps, and like as you can see, you can kind of highlight with your mouse next to that seating, you can see a map of the application. So like we're actually able to pull in the boundary information of that application, and we're actually pulling in the shape data, like the actual shape file and all that information, so that we can build profit maps with this information. And that's only available through our OpCenter connection. And that's just because of the relationship of we can work with John Deere's OpCenter team every day on furthering our integration, and that's the reason why that exists. So that's why we push that so hard. It's free, it's easy to use. Our team will help you set it up. We're there to assist you on that. But if you don't want to use it, we've got other options, and just reach out to support and we'll help you out that way too. We still have customers that manually enter their data as well. So we're just telling you about all the options out there and making sure you can, if you are using these tools, we want you to integrate and make your data entry a little bit easier. If you guys have any questions, keep them coming to the chat in the Q&A. I'm just reading one off right now.
So then there's a question about having kind of budget items and then importing your data from Operations Center. There's two different ways you can handle that. What some guys do is they'll make their budget for the year, and then they'll go through and delete everything and then import their Operations Center. Not the most ideal way. It's one way to do it. What we typically recommend is after you've created your budget for the year, we can actually do scenarios. So scenarios allow us to make copies of your account and then make some changes. So we can have an actual and a budget. So after I have my budget scenario set up, I can go to this drop down right above the field and land cost page, and I can click add new scenario. And this allows us to select what we want to copy over. So in this case, if I have my budget applications, I'm actually going to deselect copy applications so that when I go into my new scenario, it's a clean slate. And then that way I can import all my application data from Operations Center. Now, an additional question to that is, well, what if I have some OpCenter data and what if I have some manual data? Well, we can also copy applications from scenario to scenario. It's a little extra work that has to be done, but that's the best way to get the most accurate data you can. And if you have questions on how to do that, we do have some help options down in the corner here, a couple different budget videos, some previous webinars and help documents. But then also, if you just want to talk to one of us, you can schedule a call with us or send us an email. There is a schedule link right here. When you click on that help button, schedule a sales or support call just at your convenience, and we'll help you walk through any questions with that.
A couple more questions come in. Great question. Can Crop Planner pull in data from OpCenter as well? So this is a newer feature to us, and the answer is yes. So once, and it's not as common of an integration point, but it'd be like if you just sign up for Harvest Profit today and you wanted to pull in last year's data, we can pull in which crop was planted where based off of the data in OpCenter. We can pre-fill out your crop planner. So that only works once there is crop information in OpCenter, which I believe happens after planting is when that piece of data gets assigned in OpCenter. So it's a little bit of a past view integration, but when you're setting up a new year, you'll see an option to import a crop plan from OpCenter. We will be working on some new integrations in that area in the future. As you've seen, there's been some updates to Work Planner and some things in OpCenter, and we'll be working on creating stronger integrations around that planning aspect in the future.
Another question is tracking input prices. So you can add multiple purchases to your inputs. For example, if I purchase 1030 or 1034.0 a couple different times, well, there's this shopping cart icon here. I can add each individual purchase. So if I enter in my price and my amount, that will give me that weighted average cost based on how many items or how many times I purchase. And along with that question, well, do we manage inventory from a product side? No, not as of right now. It's something that we've been talking about. Haven't really nailed anything down, but it has been a discussion on our team.
I think we had, yeah, any more questions? Feel free to reach out. I'm answering some individually. We had one question about seeing duplicates showing up in your operation center data. Duplicates you shouldn't see any duplicates if they're not duplicates in OpCenter or in field view. So what I like to tell people is if you go into your OpCenter account, go to the field analyzer and you click that drop down that shows you all your applications for the year. If you're not seeing a duplicate there, it shouldn't be in harvest profit. So if you're seeing duplicates in harvest profit, contact support and we will look into that. And again, too, like if you see a little like something wrong in the software and maybe it's not affecting your profit and loss and you just haven't reached out about it, please let us know. If you're seeing things that don't look right or you're seeing duplicates or things you want to get fixed in your account, like that's what our team's here for. We want to get those things working right in your account. So just let us know because we don't always catch everything that's maybe happening on a specific account because it might be something unique to just your account.
Ben, do you want to throw a shout out there for our upcoming projects? If we're going to be integrating, like you mentioned, integrating more data from Operations Center, how does that fit into harvest profit?
Okay. Sorry, I was reading some other things here. We just had a couple more come in. So we'll answer these questions why, then we'll go back to that. So we had one question about any timeline on when JD Link data will be used as job time. It's going to be logged to determine machine costs, labor costs, fuel costs. This kind of fits in with why I was saying upcoming projects. So we are working on a machine equipment cost tracking tool. So if you look in Wyatt's account that he's showing here, you'll see a little equipment tab down there as a little sneak peek. It's not going to show anything because he's not set up with everything correctly here now, but we are coming out with a tool to help with equipment cost calculations. So it's coming, but version 1 isn't going to link in job times or time in field. Essentially, we're going to be looking at total hours per year, possibly total fuel, and more of the machinery lease or payment details to calculate a total cost. There's some, we have some, I don't know, some roadblocks to get to the point of doing this on a field by field level. So we will always continue to work on making that better. It's just, in the meantime, we're stuck with what we can do. And that's why we're going to start with version 1 and always improve on it. So there are some questions about marketing in different units. So marketing, sell your grain in metric tons versus bushels. This is a great question. So we have another project in the background that's going on for mixed units. So we can start supporting units better for Canadian customers and for future expansion into different markets. I believe this is something that still needs to be worked on. So we've been kind of constricted to units in a little bit of way in the way we market. So currently what we tell customers is if you're entering your yield in bushels, the selling unit has to be bushels as well. But it doesn't prevent someone from entering their, for example, we run sunflowers on my farm. We do that in pounds, we market it in pounds. You just have to keep whatever unit you're marketing in the same as the unit you're entering your yield in. So we do support more units beyond bushels. You just have to be consistent with making sure price per unit lines up with yield per unit and your contracting. But I'm going to bring this back up to our team as that's something we need to look into is being able to market in units outside of just bushels because we know in Canada it's quite often that people can contract in metric tons. So that will be that can be something we'll bring up. So we had another question for currency exchange. Typically what we've seen, Canadian farmers are using our I'm skipping our basis tool and our basis settings to account for the exchange. So if feel free to, if you're currently a customer of ours that's in Canada that is having issues with currency and not being able to exchange that through using basis, help inform us on the process of how your market prices are coming into you. So I believe for our Chicago Board of Trade crops, we're bringing in the Chicago pricing in US dollars and letting you make the adjustment through the basis, which is what most elevators do in Canada. But we may be wrong on some crops. So if you do have something out there that's different, let us know.
Another question
So
about tracking equipment cost applications. So if I'm paying someone to have their sprayer come over, spray a couple fields, there's gonna be a cost to that. Or maybe I just want to assign a cost to my sprayer or my planter for each application. So on the applications page, you would have to do it manually. Currently we don't track if something is seeding, we apply a seeding application cost. Same thing for chemical application. We don't apply automatically an equipment cost to that. Something that we could talk about on our team. But for the meantime, you can add it for each operation. I can add a miscellaneous cost here. But as far as automatically assigning that, we cannot do that at this time.
one last question we got right now is any discussion on livestock poultry cost tracking features? Unfortunately, there isn't any plan at the moment. We've kind of constricted ourselves with the way our system's built around crop years. It's hard to integrate a life cycle of an animal that fits into the crop year cycle of our software. So no plans at the moment. I'm glad to see that that there is support for that in the future. Keep sending in requests as you see fit, and we'll look into them as we can.
Again, if you have questions, if you need help on anything, again, I'll mention this help button down here. Really great resource to look at what we have online to help yourself. And then also scheduling or contacting us. It's a pretty easy way to schedule a call.
Any other questions, type them in, otherwise we'll get close to wrapping this up here. Clint, I did see your message. I will shoot you an email after this call here, so I will put a note down to do that. With that, I'm going to throw up one more slide quick, Wyatt, to close this out.
Ben,
A little bit more.
there is one more question on exporting profit map data.
Go ahead. Do I need to answer or do you got
Yeah.
it? I'm
Yep.
on the wrong page.
Yeah, so the question is, can we export profit map data to analyze over a soil zone set? Ben, you want to answer that?
So we can export profit maps into Operations Center and you can do a side-by-side comparison, but unfortunately the maps are just images today when they're being exported. So I don't have a way to do a good comparison of one versus the other. So as of today, there isn't a way to really do that. But in the future, we should be able to export a map into OpCenter that's editable or has the profit data in the map, allowing you to do better analysis on it. We get a request. We'd like to see more categories on our chemical list so that we could spread out herbicides, insecticide, fungicide. That is a good suggestion as well, Wyatt, if you want to take that down in your notes. With that, I think we're caught up on questions. I just threw this slide up here for those of you that are new to the software. We are $1,600 a year. We don't have any per acre fees. We're a renewable subscription. We do offer a 14-day free trial for anyone new to our software. Or if you've done a free trial before, you can sign up and you can get a new free 14-day trial if you ask our team. And through that trial, through your payment period, is unlimited support. And with that, I'm going to add in one more slide. So it's a little bit of information about how to get a hold of us. If you want to sign up for a free trial, go to harvestprofit.com. You'll find all the information there. Otherwise, reach out to our team anytime you have questions. So sales questions, support questions, feature requests, we can't make changes if we don't hear from you guys. So we appreciate the customers that do reach out. If you haven't reached out to us before, set up a call, shoot us an email. We'd love to hear from you. So to set up those calls, like Wyatt showed you in earlier, you can do it from our website. Go to harvestprofit.com/call. Otherwise, shoot us an email at support@harvestprofit.com or sales@harvestprofit.com. Someone asked one last question. Any inventory updates in the future? There is a pretty good project going on about inventory and changing that. Why? I don't know if you want to speak to that or if you just want to grab an email and follow up afterwards.
Yeah, just a little tidbit. We're working on changing the whole dashboard for inventory to make it easier to see where loads are coming from, what's in your bins, how much you have left to contract, just kind of making it a little more user friendly. So yeah, that's have no set date. We're in the middle of the project right now, but it's coming and we're very excited about it.
All right, with that, I think we're caught up on questions. So we will end this webinar there. So thank you for joining us today. Again, we're very proactive to you guys reaching out. We want you guys to reach out. We want you to contact our team, email us, call us, and we'll happy to work with you. So thanks for joining us today. Have a good rest of your week, and we will see you on a future webinar.
Thank you, everyone.